I don't think Donald Trump will be elected president, but worst case scenario, this is my video. Because everybody else I know, they give out their predictions on the future, and eventually you go back and you watch the video to see how it lines up. I think about a video that Chris Hedges did with a reporter, a guy been on a long time. He talked about what Trump would be like, and he was right. Trump just made some statements to the effect that he would encourage Putin to attack nations, NATO nations that are not paying their bills. I don't think Trump will be elected. Once again, this is a prediction if he did get elected. This is the thought exercise. This represents another example of what I mean when I say Trump's election would be 4 years of nothingness. At its best, at its very best, it would mean 4 years of government that's at war with itself and or government that is unable to act appropriately. We don't have any idea what new crisis we're going to face in the next 4 years, but the government won't be able to respond to it appropriately because Trump is doing this now, saying that, well, Russia should attack we don't like, they aren't paying what we think we should be paying. We know, what was it? Was it Jared? One of the people in his cabinet was saying that just let the pandemic run wild because it was killing people in blue states. People forget about that COVID didn't get bad. But if it had gotten bad, their thought practice was, it's killing the lefties. Let it run wild. Yeah. So you'd have that kind of stuff. You'd have a president. What I'm going with it is, you have a president that is willing to let people die based on their political viewpoints, which is as I say often, every man walks a path. Every man walks a path, for better or for worse. For the most part, a man walks a path. You save your money. You know who you associate with, who you marry, who you date, where you work, what kind of car you drive. That's a path you take. And if you're a Republican Party that has something for people in the in the urban area, that's where you go. I mean, Pence literally said when he ran, I have nothing for the big cities. So what are you doing up here then? And what's a big city? I'm confused. Is it 1 million people? What's a big city? Is it Philly? I mean, people would say Denver is a big city. People would say Charlotte's a big city. What's a big city? I'm confused by that. But if you're running off of the boomers and talking disaffected white people who don't know any blacks, who don't know any gays, who don't know any things like that, then that would be your response to a once-in-a-century pandemic, is to say, let's let all these little blue states die and blue cities die. People who, which it further proves to you how petty Trump really is and was, because people said he was like this. And the pandemic for me was like, the proof was in the pudding. It was the pudding. That was the moment to see, like, yeah, I don't care about, and the fighting over the ventilators. And yeah, I remember that shit. Fighting with Cuomo and all. Yeah, I remember all that shit. That was nasty. And Trump played a game with people's lives. And it's amazing to me how quickly Americans can forget. I remember that shit. And for me, learning that the intelligence agencies did their job, they warned him back in December of 2019. He didn't care. They warned him several times. He didn't do anything about it till February. And then once he did block travel with China, a lot of people went around that. We knew that. Stuff Trump did was a day late and a dollar short, as they say. And we don't need that, but that's what that kind of government represents, is a government that's not on the ball. It's a government that's not serious, is not legitimate, is not focused. And that's what that is. That's what that kind of government is. I think that Trump, that's just the best. At the very best, it'd be nothing gets passed. I'm talking about highway bills, infrastructure bills. I'm talking about like clean water. I'm talking about like EPA. I'm talking about basic government stuff will not get done in the next 4 years. That's the best. Worst case scenario is he's going to ruin the Republican Party, which some people would say is a good thing. I don't think so, because it means a Republican Party full of sycophants, and I'm starting to see Republicans that do kind of speak out on Trump a little bit, and that's a good thing. I don't want blackmail on people. I don't like them. I don't believe in that. Lindsey Graham, Lady G, and all this stuff, and some black guy that's a 40-year-old virgin. I don't believe in blackmail of people. I don't like them. But I think I get the feeling that Trump's got a lot of that stuff. And if he has to, he can ruin careers in an afternoon with a few phone calls. So that's the worst aspect is he's at war with the Republican Party and people start getting ruined. I don't know if that's better. I don't know if it's better or worse. Some people say that's a good thing because that means you have a Democratic Republican Party that can't function because they're infighting. And some people think that that's better because they can't function. They're weakened. I don't know. I mean, you don't see any of this kind of scandal stuff on the Democrat side that we're seeing Republicans. Other than with the one guy, I think his secretary or something having sex in a room or something, that means nothing. It means nothing. They can't watch all that stuff. Madison Cawthorn stuff and Martin Taylor Greene, sleeping with every man in the gym she was at, and Lauren Boebert got a man pawing at her breasts in front of a bunch of kids, and she's vaping in the doggone play, Beetlejuice. You don't see any of that on the Democratic side. You don't see any of that stuff. I think that ultimately, if Trump gets reelected, let me say one thing. I am happy that we're no longer talking about America being land of the free anymore. I mean, a part of me, because people say, oh, it's so bad. Oh, for me, there's something beautiful about us not lying anymore. Of an America that acknowledges ruthlessness. I'm concerned. I think that is something to be concerned about. I've been paying attention to other countries, how they're looking at it, but an America that is not hiding behind that they have good intentions. No. You don't see that anymore with Trump or with his people at all. They don't pretend to do that at all. Trump is saying that the gas is going to be under $2 a gallon. How do you think he's going to do that? He's going to break all the rules to do that. He's going to break all. I just realized that Trump's whole way of ruling, he's a shit starter. But he's also a guy that he comes into power and he's able to operate off of the benefits from other good leaders who have, created relationships and agreement and good feeling and all that. He's able to abuse them. He's able to take advantage of that. And by him lying, cheating, and stealing, basically, he can, I guess, give you a little cheaper gas. I guess he can give you a little bit, cheaper, and this, that, and the third. But look at what you're doing to get that. You understand? I just, that's the sad thing about the whole Biden thing is that, I'm happy that he's created so much. But that Trump will take advantage of that. Trump didn't build anything. Trump built agreements, a good feeling with despots. Remember the salute North Korean general? Yeah, that's Trump. That's his way of thinking. That's his people, And for me, there is something definitively positive about acknowledging those facts. But Trump is a danger to the global world order. He really is. He's a danger, and I just believe that if he gets back reelected, it could be the end of NATO. Not that he can roll back and do those things, but it's the end of a certain a certain belief in America, a certain belief in the global world order, a certain belief in those things. I mean, I don't know. I leave it there.